Hi, welcome. On this video, I want to do a follow-up to the video I did called Zach George in the Trenches with an Ideology. And this is where on a live stream he did regarding, again, his ideological collision course in terms of trying to cancel the Dog Daddy, where he responds to a question regarding his experience and background. And again, very surprising, admission where he talks about his background, his experience being as a trainer with PetSmart, and beyond that, self-study. So initially, right away, hearing that type of a admission, I say, well, that's pretty lame. But in terms of, again, I talk about getting in the trenches, I talk about the importance of, experience by way of putting an idea, a method to the test, whether or not it holds up. So I find it very interesting, when you start to really kind of look at what's going on in the dog training world, but even for someone like Zach George to try to just push this idea forward in spite of all the inherent problems. I mean, just look at the state of the dog training world. I mean, anyone who's the least bit objective should be able to look at this and say, there's something terribly wrong. I mean, look at it. I mean, and again, that's why I always make the statement when people start to kind of, question me challenging what's happening. Like, kind of like, how dare I even question, balance training or force-free training. For someone like Zach George, say, well, this is like settled, like the science of it. Like, you can trust, what is being marketed. I'm like, you're out of your mind. I mean, it's crazy. It's not settled at all. And to try to say that it is, well, what I say is, well, just look at, this has been on a slow boil. This has been progressively getting worse over time. And, again, my response is, well, every lie has consequences, whether it's immediate or delayed. But if it's delayed, those consequences are going to build up, and it's going to represent like a massive unraveling. And that's exactly what you're seeing right now. And so I understand the science was never settled. This does not meet the criteria of science, but I find it very interesting, again, looking at, someone like Zach George talking about his background experience, and then, science is supposed to be, observable, being able to put, an idea, a method to the test, and so everyone can see it in a fully open and transparent way. Well, I find it very interesting that, when you go on to someone like Zach George's social media and you look for video content that represents transparency that way, guess what? You're not going to find it as to this being put to the test, even as he does a new puppy series, and again, just think about, how people kind of play the edges of certain things. You understand this idea is totally corrupted. I mean, this is what I call trash science for a reason. But you understand how people try to work things out. They try to work the edges. They try how they market, why they don't show certain things and they show other things. If just apply critical thinking here, and you'll see what I'm talking about, why this is the way the dog training world is in the state that it's in. But again, I want to talk about this whole thing about, putting something to the test. And I talk about, being in the trenches, in terms of an opportunity, to arrive at what the truth is. As to, and again, you talk about real science. Well, that's what real science is supposed to be about. Being able to confront the problems, the challenges. And so understanding that this idea is in defensive lockdown mode. Understand this is why people are getting so upset, and so they let their feelings lead. They get, it's like, how dare you challenge in spite of all the problems. So again, I talk about that should be your default position before you even say, well, how dare you even question this? I'm like, really? Like, let's start with just being objective and look at all the problems and look at how common it is for this idea of things, this response-based picture, not to line up for so many. Like why don't you start there? And then we can have a conversation as to what a process represents. Then we can have a conversation about what real science is. So that's the thing I find, amazing with what's going on in the dog training world. But again, getting back to this whole thing about, talking about being in the trenches. Okay, I talk about that's an opportunity, right, to start to put an idea to the test, like with real dogs with real issues. Okay, I mean, and line it up, and then start to look at it, say, okay, why is it that this picture doesn't line up for some and it does for others? What is it really about? See, these are the questions that I understand, whether it's balanced training, especially, that these individuals never asked as individuals. I think the problem here in the dog training world, so many have just jumped in and taken a hold of this idea and say, well, it's trustworthy. Or through balanced training, just like, oh, we built off of it, so this firms it up. You can trust it. I mean, just look at it. I go through and break all this stuff down. But here's the thing is, again, being in the trenches means that through experience, through being able to, when I say trenches, it means working with dogs with, aggressive dogs with real issues, and then line the stuff up and then start to ask those questions. Well, that's an opportunity. Okay, that's an opportunity to put an idea to the test. Like, does it hold up? Is it predictable and consistent coming out the other side? And, understand that, that's an opportunity. Just like, again, when I'm profiling these situations, I'm putting situations out such as the bonker controversy or the current situation involving Zach George and the dog daddy, the optics of the dog daddy. I'm going to talk through all that. But actually, those are opportunities as an individual to ask specific questions, to say, okay, let's connect some dots here versus, focusing in on individuals that way, right? Making it personal, which isn't going to be helpful when it comes to, discovering, okay, what is the truth here? What is a process? So again, understand that, things are opportunities. It doesn't mean that, you'll see people that, it's a kind of a missed opportunity. If you, again, have a certain level of bias, if it's about appearances, about your emotions a certain way, if you're not connecting the dots, you have to be able to audit, to ask questions, to line the stuff up. So again, all to say that someone like Zach George, not even out of the starting gate yet, understand that this is the thing that's happened in the dog training world, is people are their own motives. Like the question is, okay, what are their own motives for saying the things they're saying? Is it just about, very easy to do, it's just about exploiting, making money at the expense of dogs and owners? See, understand the dog training world's a mess for a reason. Because here's the point I make. If this is really about dogs the right way, with all these trainers, everything should just halt as an individual at the moment you say, not even one dog's going to take the hit because of something I'm doing that's obviously not lining up. That's where it should stop. It hasn't stopped with any of these trainers. So to even reconcile, for me, the statements these trainers make on social media about how much they care about dogs, that's a contradiction. I can't reconcile that. It's impossible, considering all the problems. So understand there's so much of this. You talk about narcissism, you talk about self-focus. Well, the dog training world is just inherently corrupt. Understand that when you start to really look at what's going on, it's in the state that it's in for a reason. And if you really value dogs as the amazing animals that they really are, you should question all of it. And you should, again, if you're in the trenches, that should propel you forward to, doesn't matter what these groups are saying, or you should be, as an individual, propel you forward to ask the questions that need to be asked. So all to say that I want to do a follow-up. When I talk about someone's experience, you could still arrive at a truth of what is going on, but certainly I would challenge that it's almost not going to happen through say someone like Zach George, by way of a bribery based methodology at the beginning, through say PetSmart, or from self study. Because really the question is, okay, what is going to move you forward. What is going to be the formula to get you to where you need to go to arrive at what the truth is. It's not that. Okay, understand that right away. Right away, that's totally just kind of push that to the side. But again, my encouragement to anyone watching my video content is you should be propelled. Okay, I mean, science is supposed to be exciting. Okay, I mean, to again appreciate dogs for the amazing animals that they really are. I mean, to how I see what's going on in the dog training world, all these trainers, is they're missing out on so much. The opportunity to be able to go deeper, to be able to connect at a deeper level. I mean, that's what I'm talking about when I talk about relationship. When I talk about the system of training, it's built on asking those questions from the beginning. That's what this whole system of training is about, and appreciating dogs for the amazing animals that they really are. And so you talk about connection, okay? It's about that bond. It's about depth of relationship. It's about being in harmony with nature. That's all the themes of this system. All the other stuff, whether it's balanced training, whether it's force-free training, that's not what it's about. It's motivated by other things, by way of the human. So again, I just want to do a follow-up. Again, I talk about being in the trenches. Again, all these situations that I profile. My goal is to encourage other individuals, okay, to ask the questions that these trainers never ask. Because understand something, once you embrace this idea of things, once you identify as a balanced trainer, as a force-free trainer, it makes it so much more challenging and difficult to walk that back, because it requires a trade-off. Okay, understand there's no wiggle room here. I talk about, the problems. There's nothing redemptive in this idea by way of approaching training the way that these trainers approach it. You're not going to find the answers there. Not going to find them that way. So again, my encouragement is to put everything to the test, put everything I say to the test. There's nothing hidden with the information I put out. You can go through my video content. I don't market the same way. You don't see me, with a bunch of awards and stuff sitting behind me, because that changes the focus. It's all about the individual. It's all about arriving through, say, your journey towards discovering, the not just the potential of yourself, but in terms of just how amazing dogs really are. So again, I just want to put another video, just a follow-up. I talk about what's going on in the dog training world. It's really a joke. To me, it really is. This is not science. This is something else. Okay, I use all sorts of words to describe it, but the point being is my encouragement is for anyone watching my video content as an individual is to seek to want more. There's so much more to be gained. It's an opportunity, but it's a missed opportunity for so many, I believe. We come to the end of the journey. What is it really about? It's about really connecting at a deeper level. Really so much to be gained through the relationship. Dogs are amazing animals, and they appreciate dogs for the amazing animals that they really are. Thanks for watching.